I stand motionless at the entrance to Caitlin's apartment, keys still clutched in my hand. The sight that greets me feels surreal, like stepping into a room where everything familiar has been displaced. My sister Leona occupies Caitlin's sofa, one leg elegantly positioned over the other, dressed in my ivory sweater that vanished from my closet a week ago. Her laughter fills the air, head thrown back in apparent delight, neck arched gracefully. Caitlin hovers near the kitchen island, his body language radiating unease. His shoulders curve inward, and he continuously shifts his weight between his feet. Tamsin, Leona's voice carries feigned astonishment. I believed you were in the lab until 6. Professor Winters cancelled. I respond, my tone devoid of emotion. Caitlin's gaze bounces nervously between us. She simply dropped by, he offers, his hands gesturing defensively, to discuss some matters. That's when I notice it, the coffee cup positioned on the table before Leona. A flawless crimson lip print adorns the white porcelain, matching the exact color painting her mouth at this moment. My phone vibrates against my leg, followed by several more alerts. We were merely planning Thanksgiving arrangements, correct, Cal? Leona grins, employing the pet name I coined for him. Her tone suggests intimacy and possession. Callan wavers, massaging his nape. Yeah, I suppose. His vision avoids mine, focusing on the floor, walls, ceiling, anywhere except my face. My phone continues its relentless buzzing. I extract it, illuminating the screen. Campus notifications cascade across my lock screen. 5:47 p.m., peak hour for university rumors as students migrate toward dinner. I resist opening them. No need exists. A memory from 2 years prior resurfaces with excruciating vividness. My high school graduation celebration, relatives and friends assembled in our backyard. Mother had invested weeks in preparation. Your special moment, she had assured me. I'd barely unwrapped my presents when Leona clinked her glass, commanding everyone's attention toward her dazzling new engagement ring. Surprise, she had declared. Devin proposed yesterday evening. The recollection transitions to Jake, my initial college romance. How Leona mysteriously materialized at our preferred coffee establishment during our regular study sessions. How she contacted him regarding family surprise arrangements for my birthday. How he began incorporating her name into every discussion until he finally confessed, I believe we desire different things. My mother's words echo in my consciousness. She's simply being cordial, Tamsin. You're overly sensitive. That's what elder sisters do. The morning of freshman orientation returns to me, standing in my dormitory room, making a vow to myself while affixing photographs to my wall. Never again, I had whispered. No more opportunities. Cailin adjusts his position, returning me to the present. His phone rests on the counter, unlocked. A text notification banner glides across the top. Leona Carter. Thanks for coffee earlier. Let's repeat this soon. Something within me crystallizes to a sharp point. I maintain facial neutrality, preserving the same pleasant expression I've mastered through years of family portraits, the one that prompts my mother to say, "See, everything's fine." You two appear comfortable, I state, my voice unwavering. Don't allow me to disturb you. Leona's purse sits open on the coffee table. A corner of what resembles photographs protrudes from within. More proof, more weapons, more components of whatever scheme she's orchestrating. I forgot about my study group. I lie effortlessly. Developmental psychology project due tomorrow. I examine my watch theatrically, though I know the precise time. You two continue catching up. But you just arrived, Callan objects, finally meeting my gaze directly. Panic flickers in his eyes. Possibly guilt. Duty summons, I smile tightly. See you later. I pivot and exit, closing the door softly behind me. In my vehicle, my hands tremble as I finally access campus tea. The initial post displays a photograph of Callan and Leona at the campus coffee shop, heads inclined intimately over a table. His basketball jacket is unmistakable. Her hand rests upon his forearm. The caption reads, "Basketball star getting cozy with his girlfriend's sister. Family feud." My phone chimes with a text from Leona. Heading home. Talk later about Thanksgiving. I start the engine, my fingers no longer quivering. The dashboard clock displays 5:53 p.m., 6 minutes since I entered Kaplan's apartment. 6 minutes to confirm what I've suspected for weeks. Not this time, I whisper, pulling away from the curb. This time I have a strategy. I've maintained a tally over the years. 3 boyfriends and 1 near fiancé. The following day, the notebook in my grasp weighs nothing and everything as I leaf through the pages. 4 years of careful documentation stored in a purple moleskine journal I purchased after Jake, my freshman year boyfriend who suddenly required space, only to appear at a family dinner 2 weeks later inquiring about Leona's graduate program. Sunday dinner at my parents' colonial residence always follows identical choreography. Mom in the kitchen, declining assistance, but lamenting about managing everything alone. Dad in his study conducting business calls until the final moment. Leona arriving fashionably late with some dramatic announcement that redirects all attention, and me slipping away between the salad and main course with the pretense of a restroom break. Today I have 20 minutes maximum before someone notices my absence. 20 minutes to search the bedroom Leona maintains at home for convenience, despite her downtown apartment. My fingers work systematically through her nightstand drawers. Nothing unusual. Beneath her bed, I discover a shoebox of mementos. Old concert tickets, birthday cards, a bracelet I thought I'd lost last summer. The closet yields nothing until I spot the corner of a leather-bound journal wedged between winter sweaters on the top shelf. I drag over the vanity chair and reach for it, my heart pounding against my ribs. What I discover turns my blood to ice water. Pages of notes on Kellen, his basketball practice schedule, favorite study locations, food preferences. Coffee order. A photograph of him mid-jump shot with a date and timestamp from 3 weeks ago. Another of him leaving the science building last month. I flip further. Screenshots of text messages between Leona and someone listed as FL. FL. Is she still dating him? Leona. For now. Working the angle we discussed. FL. Remember what happened with Dorian? Don't rush it. Leona. Trust me. Her taste in men is predictable. This one's even easier. FL. Operation Payback requires patience. My phone camera clicks softly as I document each page, my hands surprisingly steady now, methodically capturing evidence of my sister's calculated betrayal. I control my breathing 4 counts in, 4 counts out. A technique my therapist taught me last year when I finally sought help for what Mom dismissed as sisterly jealousy. That's just how sisters are, Tamsin, she had said after I confronted her about Leona and Jake. You've always been too sensitive. Not everyone is out to get you. Dr. Martinez had suggested strategic distance from my family. Sometimes we need space to recognize unhealthy patterns, she explained. I nodded along, made notes, but never implemented her advice. Family obligation runs deeper. Carter family values my father preaches during his brief appearances between business trips. The stairs creak. I freeze, journal still open in my lap. Footsteps approach, the distinctive rhythm of Leona's walk in heeled boots. Quickly, I return the journal to its hiding place and grab a perfume bottle from her vanity just as the bedroom door swings open. Tamsin? Leona's surprise looks genuine, but I've watched her perform confusion many times before. What are you doing in my room? I hold up the crystal perfume bottle. Borrowing your Chanel. Hope you don't mind. Her eyes narrow slightly. I forgot my purse upstairs. Mom's about to serve the roast. I'll be right down. I spritz my wrist casually, heart thundering beneath my calm exterior. Leona hesitates, glancing around the room as if taking inventory. Don't snoop too long, she says with a half smile. People might talk. After she leaves, I wait 10 seconds before slipping out, evidence safely captured on my phone. Tomorrow, I will tell Beth everything. I need my friend's help. She's been to every home game this season, Beth says the next morning over coffee at the campus cafe. My roommate stirs her latte thoughtfully. My cousin who works in the dean's office says there have been situations before. Situations? I wrap my hands around my mug, anchoring myself. Beth leans forward. Complaints from other students. Nothing official, but enough whispers that people notice. I didn't want to say anything before because, well, she's your sister. What kind of complaints? The campus buzzes around us, students rushing to morning classes. Boundary issues, especially with athletes who are already in relationships. Beth tucks her blonde hair behind her ear. Jeremy from the basketball team warned me weeks ago that your sister had been hanging around practices, talking to Caitlin. I think about Professor Winters, my psychology mentor, who had suggested my research project on familial manipulation patterns with unusual enthusiasm. This could be quite illuminating, Tamsin, she had said, her eyes holding mine a beat too long. Had she known? That night in my dorm room, I download a recording app on my phone and test its range. If placed between books on a library table, it captures voices clearly from 6 feet away. I stare at my psychology textbook, a chapter on covert narcissism highlighted in yellow, and pick up my phone. Study session tomorrow. Library. Usual spot. I text Callan. His response comes immediately. Absolutely. 4 p.m. I confirm and set down my phone, mentally mapping out tomorrow's strategy. I'll need to position my belongings carefully, making it natural to leave everything behind when I excuse myself to find a research paper. For a moment, doubt creeps in. The voice in my head sounds suspiciously like my mother's. You're overreacting. This is your sister. But then I see the evidence again, the journal, the photographs, the text messages about Operation Payback. My resolve hardens. This isn't about jealousy or competition. Something deeper, more calculated is happening, and I need to understand the full scope before confronting it. Evidence, not emotion. I whisper to myself, the mantra becoming a shield against the hurt threatening to crack my composure. I open my laptop and begin to plan. The next day, I spread my psychology textbooks across our usual table near the tall windows of Hartwell Library. Karen's basketball duffel sits under the chair across from me, his notes already scattered beside his open developmental psychology text. The late afternoon sun slants through the glass, illuminating dust motes that dance between us. Professor Winters wants 5 peer-reviewed sources, I say, highlighting a passage about familial manipulation patterns. Think we can finish before closing? Callan flips a page, his forehead creased in concentration. If we split the research. His eyes meet mine briefly before returning to his notes. You're better at finding the cognitive stuff anyway. I check my watch, 4:17. Leona's Tuesday comparative literature seminar ends at 4:30. She'll need at least 10 minutes to cross campus, probably stopping to chat with Professor Holloway about her thesis. That gives me a 20-minute window. I need to find that research paper on siblings and identity formation, I say, gathering my phone. The one by Dr. Harrison. It should be in the psychology journal section. Callan nods, without looking up. I'll start on the methodology section. I weave between the towering shelves, breathing in the comforting smell of paper and binding glue. At the psychology section, I pause, waiting until an undergraduate with headphones shuffles past. Then I retrieve my phone, open the recording app, and slide it between 2 thick journals on attachment theory. I angle it carefully toward our table, visible only as a thin black edge between dusty spines. The timer on my watch reads 4:26. Perfect. I spend 15 minutes actually searching for Dr. Harrison's paper, finding it tucked in a bound journal from 2019. Then I take the long route back, circling through ancient philosophy to approach our table from behind the reference section. That's when I see her. Leona leans over the table, her voice too low to hear from this distance. Her hand rests on Callan's forearm, fingers splayed possessively. Her hair, carefully curled this morning, I noticed when she passed by the dorm, falls forward as she bends closer. The yellow sundress she's wearing is new. I've never seen it before. Callan hasn't moved away, but his entire body radiates discomfort. His shoulders bunch toward his ears, and his free hand grips his pen so tightly I can see the white knuckles from here. He stares fixedly at his textbook while she speaks, nodding mechanically. I duck behind the American history shelf, my heart hammering against my ribs. Through a gap between books, I watch them. Leona laughs softly at something, tossing her hair back in that practiced motion I've seen 1,000 times. Still, Callan doesn't pull away. For 10 excruciating minutes, I observe them. Leona touches his shoulder, his hand, his arm. Brief contacts that could be dismissed as friendly if you hadn't seen this pattern before. If you hadn't lost Jake, Harris, and Dorian Wells the same way. Finally, she glances at her watch and straightens. She says something that makes Callan nod, his relief visible even from my hiding spot. As she walks away, her fingers trail across his shoulders. I wait until she exits through the main doors, counting to 60 before emerging from the stacks. My hands don't shake. My breathing remains even. 2 years of psychology studies have taught me something about controlling physiological responses. I return to our table, sliding the Harrison journal onto the pile. Found it, I announce, voice steady as I settle back into my chair. Callan jumps slightly, then smiles too widely. Great. I've outlined the methodology section. He taps his pencil against his notepad in a nervous rhythm. Your sister stopped by. I bookmark a page in my textbook, not looking up.
Oh.
That's nice. She wanted to know if we're coming to that family dinner Sunday. I highlight another passage about covert emotional manipulation. Have you completed the section on cognitive development? Caitlin's pen ceases its rhythmic tapping. Yes, almost finished. He observes me for a few moments, then goes back to his work when I remain unresponsive. Our study session continues for 2 more hours. I respond to his inquiries about attachment theory, discuss the advantages of longitudinal versus cross-sectional studies, and assist him with citation formatting. Throughout this time, I never mention Leona or the golden sundress, or how his voice trembles slightly each time he speaks my name. Later that evening, in the privacy of my room, I secure the door and insert my earbuds. The initial 60 seconds of recording contain only the library's ambient noise, pages rustling, keyboards clicking in the distance, someone clearing their throats several rows away. Then Leona's voice emerges, unmistakable even in hushed tones. Shocked to see me? Caitlin's reply is terse. Why are you here? Simply being a caring sister. Looking out for my beloved future brother-in-law. You've been together for 8 months. No one's discussing marriage yet. The sound of shifting furniture. A chair being moved slightly. You know, I've been observing your performance. You're too talented for Division II athletics. A pause. Tamsin will return shortly. You're only with her because she represents security. Leona's voice becomes more intimate, dropping to a whisper. I could awaken genuine passion in you. My hands clench into fists, nails digging into my palms. Caitlin's voice hardens. Stay away. I won't repeat myself. A soft chuckle from Leona. Dorian said the same thing initially. Then Finn helped him see differently. Who's Finn? Simply a mutual acquaintance. Someone who comprehends the strategy better than most. The sound of her rising. Consider it carefully, Calvin Matthews. Certain chances don't present themselves twice. Several seconds of silence, then the diminishing sound of heels clicking on tile. I replay the exchange 3 times, my psychology training automatically cataloging the manipulation tactics: isolation, triangulation, artificial scarcity, veiled intimidation. But it's the name that captures my attention. Finn. I've encountered it before. Opening my laptop, I enter Finn Langston basketball into the search engine. Results appear quickly. Finn Langston, point guard for Eastern State University. Career-ending knee injury 3 years prior during conference playoffs against Riverside Valley, against Caitlin's team. I navigate to his social media profile. Listed as his cousin, Dorian Wells, my former boyfriend from freshman year. The same Dorian who abruptly ended our relationship after meeting Leona at my birthday celebration. Additional scrolling reveals photographs of Finn with a group of athletes at a party. In the background, partially hidden but recognizable, Leona wears the signature crimson dress she reserves for special conquests. The connections form with horrifying clarity. This isn't about attraction. It's not even about competing with me. It's about vengeance. Caitlin had been present when Finn's injury occurred, a promising career destroyed in a collision during a critical game. I lean back in my chair, an unusual tranquility settling over me. For the first time in our lifelong contest, I see the complete picture. All the elements. The strategy extending beyond the immediate move. It's not about love, I whisper to my empty room. It's about revenge and dominance. The realization should frighten me. Instead, I feel something unexpected blooming in my chest, something that resembles strength. I arrive at Riverside Bistro 30 minutes ahead of schedule, a choice that's entirely deliberate. The hostess, a blonde woman with compassionate eyes, welcomes me with professional warmth. Reservation under Carter, I state, watching her examine the list. Her finger pauses. Yes, party of 4 at 7. Your sister contacted us to arrange special accommodations. She smiles, gathering menus. She specifically requested our secluded corner booth in the rear. Very romantic atmosphere.
Of course she did.
I maintain my smile while my stomach churns. Actually, I say, keeping my tone casual, could we have that table instead? I indicate a table near the front windows, surrounded by other patrons, bathed in the warm glow of sunset. I enjoy people watching. The hostess hesitates. But your sister explicitly requested. I know she had good intentions, I interrupt gently, but I'd really prefer the window seat. It's a celebration, after all. We should be visible. She nods, adjusting her seating arrangement. Certainly. This way, please. I smooth my cream-colored dress, simple, elegant, deliberately modest, and follow her. The table is ideal, visible from the entrance, surrounded by other diners, impossible to engage in inappropriate contact without being observed. I take the seat facing the entrance and wait, reviewing my mental preparations. Beth knows to arrive at 7:15 with a believable excuse about spotting us accidentally. The teammates will follow at 7:20. My phone rests in my purse, ready to record. Caitlin arrives first, his tall frame made more imposing by the navy button-down that complements his eyes. He leans down, pressing a kiss to my cheek that lingers longer than usual. You look stunning, he says, his voice genuine. Thank you. I squeeze his hand as he sits beside me rather than across, another calculated choice. I still believe we could have celebrated privately, he murmurs, close enough that I detect the mint on his breath. Family matters to me, I reply, the rehearsed line flowing effortlessly. His eyes flicker. Tamsin, regarding your sister. The restaurant door opens, and conversation momentarily halts. Leona stands framed in the doorway, wearing a dress the shade of fresh blood. It embraces every curve, the neckline plunging dangerously, the hem ending several inches above her knees. Her dark hair cascades over bare shoulders. The hostess guides her toward us. I notice Caitlin's brief glance, instinctive and male, before his gaze returns firmly to my face. Points for effort. Apologies for being late, Leona announces, though she's exactly punctual. She bends to embrace me, her expensive fragrance invading my space. Traffic was dreadful. She claims the seat across from us, directly facing Caitlin. Cal, congratulations again on the scholarship. Father would be here, but you understand how his business travels are. Thank you, Caitlin responds, his posture rigid beside me. It's not officially confirmed yet, but it will be. I add, allowing genuine pride to show. Coach Martinez virtually guaranteed it. Our server appears, and we order beverages. I select water with lemon, needing mental clarity. Leona orders a cosmopolitan, its color perfectly matching her dress. Not coincidental. Conversation flows with practiced ease. Leona asks appropriate questions about Caitlin's basketball season, his scholarship prospects, our summer plans. Any observer would see a supportive sister interested in her siblings' relationship. I deliberately drop my napkin, bending to retrieve it beneath the table. Leona's foot rests between Caitlin's legs, her red heel dangling provocatively from manicured toes. His knees are pressed tightly together, body angled away from her. I straighten, napkin recovered, expression unchanged. Excuse me, I say, rising. Restroom break. In the privacy of the hallway, I retrieve my phone and text Beth. Now. When I return, the dynamics have shifted. Leona leans forward, one hand touching Caitlin's wrist as she laughs at something. He withdraws his arm as I approach. Tamsin. A familiar voice calls from the entrance. Beth waves enthusiastically as if discovering us is a delightful surprise. Behind her stand 3 of Caitlin's teammates, all grinning. Beth. I respond with manufactured surprise. What brings you here? Leona's smile freezes, her eyes narrowing almost imperceptibly. Post-practice hunger, says Marcus, the team captain, already pulling chairs from a nearby empty table. Mind if we join? We're celebrating Cal's scholarship news, I say before Leona can object. The more, the merrier. Relief washes over Caitlin's face as the table expands from intimate to crowded. Leona shifts her chair back, creating distance from the newcomers. The red heel that had been teasing toward Caitlin now tucks firmly beneath her chair. Once everyone settles with drinks, I raise my water glass. I'd like to propose a toast, I announce, meeting each person's eyes before landing on my sister's. To honesty and loyalty, the foundation of every meaningful relationship. Beth smiles knowingly. The teammates echo the sentiment, and I continue, my voice steady as I maintain eye contact with Leona. To my research project on interpersonal manipulation that Professor Winters approved yesterday. I'll be exploring how individuals create false narratives to control others. Leona's cosmopolitan trembles in her hand, liquid threatening to spill. For a split second, her mask slips, revealing something sharp and cold beneath. Fascinating topic, she manages, setting her glass down carefully. Though perhaps inappropriate for dinner conversation. On the contrary, I reply, my smile unwavering. I think it's perfect for tonight. 2 days later, I settle into a corner booth at the grind, 15 minutes early for my appointment with Rebecca. The coffee shop hums with afternoon activity, perfect for our conversation to blend into background noise. My hands remain steady as I arrange the folder of evidence on the table, a calculated display of organization. Rebecca Walsh, Campus Television's most ambitious student journalist, arrives precisely on time. Her curly red hair bounces as she slides into the seat across from me, laptop already open. I'm surprised you contacted me, she says, studying me with sharp green eyes. You've never seemed the type to seek publicity. I push the folder toward her slightly, not offering it, just acknowledging its presence. I'm not interested in publicity. I'm interested in truth. She glances at the folder. About your sister and your boyfriend? That's already trending. Old news by tomorrow. It's not about a trending topic, I reply, taking a deliberate sip of my coffee. It's about a pattern, one that affects more people than just me. Rebecca's eyebrow arches, her journalistic instincts clearly engaged. She leans forward. What kind of pattern? I open the folder, revealing carefully organized photographs, screenshots, and handwritten notes. Not everything I have, just enough. Leona has a history. These are incidents spanning 3 years, 5 relationships, mine and others. Rebecca examines the materials, her professional detachment slipping as she recognizes names, places, timestamps. This is systematic. Psychology majors tend to notice behavioral patterns, I say, my voice neutral despite the anger simmering beneath. Look at the timestamps on the coffee shop meetings. The text messages to mutual friends. The coincidental appearances. She studies a particular photo longer than the others, Leona, with a basketball player from State University, dated 8 months before she ever met Caitlin. The similarity in their posture, her hand placement, is unmistakable. So, what do you want me to do with this? She asks finally. I close the folder, sliding it back toward me. Nothing yet. Just watch the rooftop party on Saturday. Greenfield Apartments. Sunset. That's all. Rebecca taps her pen against her notebook. This isn't just gossip, is it? Would I be here if it were? I hold her gaze steadily. She pockets her pen. I'll be there. But I can't promise coverage. I'm not asking for promises, I say, standing to leave. Just witnesses. The knock on my dorm room door comes Thursday evening, soft but insistent. I know who it is before I open it. Leona stands in the hallway, looking uncharacteristically disheveled. Her eyes are rimmed red, mascara slightly smudged, a perfect picture of distress, whether genuine or manufactured. May I come in? She asks, voice small. I step aside wordlessly, my laptop already open on my desk. With one casual movement, I tap the recording app icon as she enters. I've been thinking about everything, Leona begins, perching on the edge of my bed. About us. About how things have been. I sit at my desk chair, maintaining distance. Have you? I've been going through something, Tamsin. Her voice catches, tears welling. Since Dad started traveling so much. Since Mom, well, you know how she is. The script is familiar. The emotional appeal, the shared family reference, the subtle redirection of blame. I've heard variations since childhood. What exactly are you going through? I ask, my voice carefully curious rather than accusatory. Leona looks up, seemingly surprised by the question. People rarely ask her to elaborate on her emotional claims. I need attention sometimes in ways that aren't healthy. A partial truth, the most dangerous kind. I was thinking, she continues, maybe we could do some family counseling. Just the two of us, to start. To work through our issues. My recording app blinks silently as I consider her offer. The perfect trap. If I refuse, I'm unreasonable. If I agree, she controls the narrative with a therapist. I'll think about it, I say, neither committing nor refusing. Leona reaches for my hand. I let her take it, feeling nothing as her fingers curl around mine. I just want my sister back. Saturday evening bathes the rooftop in golden light. String lights crisscross overhead, ready to illuminate the gathering once the sun sets. Music pulses through portable speakers, not yet loud enough to drown out conversation. I position myself near the refreshment table, a strategic location visible from most angles of the rooftop. Caitlin joins me, handing me a cup of punch I won't drink. You look beautiful, he says, and I hear the undercurrent of tension in his voice. She's here, I murmur, angling my head slightly. 3:00. Leona appears by the rooftop entrance, wearing a pale blue sundress that catches the fading sunlight. Several heads turn as she weaves through the crowd. Caitlin's shoulders tense beside me. Let's discuss our plans for the psychology conference, I say, loud enough to be heard clearly, launching into our practice conversation. Caitlin follows my lead, discussing potential research presentations. We appear engaged, focused on each other, our future, exactly as planned. I track Leona's approach in my peripheral vision. She wears determination like another accessory, her smile fixed as she navigates toward us. Caitlin, she says, her hand immediately finding his arm. Can we talk privately? Just for a minute. I feel his arm stiffen under her touch. Around us, conversations dim as attention shifts our way. Anything you need to say can be said here, Caitlin responds, voice firm. I notice Rebecca positioned by the DJ table, her phone casually held at recording height. Two other campus TV contributors stand at different angles. Leona's expression flickers with frustration before settling into something softer, more vulnerable.
Please.
It's important. Before Caitlin can respond, Leona steps forward and kisses him. Her movement is fluid, practiced, perfectly timed as several phones capture the moment. Caitlin pushes her away immediately. Have you lost your mind? He demands, voice cutting through the sudden silence on the rooftop. Phones buzz around us as notifications ping. Campus TV's live update feature working exactly as intended. Rebecca captures everything, her expression professional despite the unfolding drama. I step forward, my voice steady and clear. I think we're done here. Leona's face transitions from feigned passion to genuine shock as she registers the phones, the witnesses, the trap she walked into. You planned this? She whispers, comprehension dawning. I meet her eyes directly.
No, Leona.
You did. I just made sure people were watching this time. 3 days later, I straighten my spine as I walk into the dean's office, manila folder tucked under my arm. The weight of evidence inside feels substantial, weeks of documentation, screenshots, recordings, and witness statements. Not a revenge portfolio, but a pattern of behavior finally brought to light. Miss Carter. Dean Reeves gestures to the chair across from her desk. I've reviewed your submission thoroughly. Her office smells of coffee and old books. Behind her, framed degrees hang beside black and white photos of the campus from decades past. I wonder how many family dramas these walls have witnessed. Leona has been suspended pending further review, she says, folding her hands. Her leadership positions with the Student Union and Honor Society have been revoked. I nod, something loosening in my chest. Not satisfaction exactly, more like verification. Reality finally aligning with truth. The Student Council issued a statement this morning. She slides a paper across her desk. I scan the carefully worded paragraph about standards of conduct and community trust, diplomatic language masking the simple fact that my sister systematically targeted my boyfriend as part of a lifelong pattern. What about your studies? Dean Reeves asks, her voice softening. I'm staying. The words come without hesitation. I'm specializing in family dynamics. Professor Winters has agreed to supervise my research. 2 weeks later, I sit at my desk writing the hardest letter of my life.
Mom.
I choose peace over pretense. For 22 years, I've smiled for family photos while ignoring what happened when cameras were lowered. I can't do that anymore. I'm not cutting contact. I'm establishing boundaries. Your daughter, Tamsin. Dad calls that night, the first real conversation we've had in years. His voice cracks when he says, I should have seen it. I'm sorry, Tamsin. Moving forward. Weeks later, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I join 8 others in a campus meeting room. Siblings of manipulative family members meets between chess club and debate team. We speak truths there that would shatter family dinner tables. Caitlin and I walk the empty track field one evening, frost crunching beneath our shoes. I should have told you sooner, he says, breath clouding in the cold air. When she first showed up at practice. Would I have believed you? I ask. Or would I have heard Mom's voice saying I was overreacting? He takes my hand, his palm warm against mine. How do we trust after this? Carefully, I answer. With our eyes open. Final chapter. The letter arrives from New Mexico 3 months later, Leona's flowing handwriting on the envelope. You win. Maybe that's all I ever feared. I place it unopened on my desk next to my mother's reluctant text, acknowledging for the first time that perhaps she'd enabled a pattern. Graduation arrives like the final page of a chapter. My psychology honors medal feels substantial against my chest as I scan the audience. The empty chair where Leona might have sat, my parents sitting slightly apart, Caitlin, who deferred his graduate school acceptance to stay nearby, whistling as I cross the stage. Later, I stand outside the psychology building where freshmen hurry past, discussing that Hartwell sisters drama from last year. I can't believe she actually documented everything, one girl says. So badass. I smile as they pass, no longer defined by that story. That night, I place Leona's unopened letter in a wooden box beside my psychology honors medal. I run my fingers over both before closing the lid with gentle firmness. Some sisters share clothes. Others share lessons. I've learned mine.